Hey everyone, this is Jaeger here with Brushers Toys, and today we are going to do something completely different than we've ever done before. First, I know I'm on camera for the first time, but you guys asked for a video about comparing all the Tyrannosaurus Rexes from the Kenner, the Hasbro, to the Mattel line. And the hardest thing is like I've told you guys in our videos when we do the unboxing, to fit these into a shot. They are so big that it's very hard to show you guys the actual true size and the scale of the toys when you're so zoomed in on them. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna break this video up into different sections. So we're gonna release these at different times because I'm not gonna make one giant long video. We're actually gonna break this up into parts so we can go through the toys and give them the proper time that they deserve without trying to rush through it. But what we'll do is we'll definitely start with the 1993 toys and then work our way all up into the 2025 toys. One of the things that I wish that I had for this video is the boxes. I still have all my boxes from all my figures through the years. I want to bring those out of storage as well and show you guys the boxes on there, because the box art is really one of the cool parts of this, as well as some of the dinosaurs don't have the capture gear with them at this time. So I'd love to do more videos with just showing the capture gear on there. But what we'll do is we'll go through these and get started. But I figured I'd show you guys too, like I've got my mobile command center from the Lost World to show the scale of that. And I should have brought the command compound out from the original Jurassic Park to show the scale of that. But like I've told you guys, like, you know, trying to fit these all in and show you the scale, it's very hard to do. But that's why I wanted to do this different format, and we might go with this moving forward if you guys are really receptive to it, just to show you guys the true scale. So what we'll do is let's just jump right in. And with the 93 line from Kenner, we did only have 2 T-Rexes come out. There was no juvenile, like, action figure size. There was the juvenile T-Rex right here. And what's really cool with these is you guys can see, so this is the scale. And I'll pick on 2 of them that we have, you know, in the dino damage wound. These are fully rubber. This is what I love about these toys, is they're full rubber. So, you know, dang thing is I've got some paint scuffs there that I can probably clean up. But, you know, you can remove the dino damage wound right there and expose the wound itself. But, you know, like the pure rubber, you could squeeze the throat, get it to bite. Scale wise, like, let's grab the action figure from 1993, 94. So let's grab Series 2 Grant. So you can see how that scales up to it. And like here's Muldoon from the new line of Mattel scale. So you can see just how well they scale up. One of the things that I just really loved about the original line compared to the newer line is I just felt like it was a lot simpler times. There wasn't as many toys coming out. So, you know, you had an opportunity to track these down, and all your friends, your buddies, your family all had these toys. So, you know, but the 93 Junior T-Rex, like, this is one of the coolest T-Rexes that was released. And what we'll do is we'll stand that there. And like I said, guys, just pure rubber. There was no capture gear that came with this. This was a very simple dinosaur. I think you could even get these back then at KB Toys and that for like $10 on sale. So, you know, really cool find there. But what we'll do is we'll set the juvenile over here for now, and we'll put that one back. And then what we'll do is we'll actually go with the big red Rex. So one of the things that I have to admit that's really hard with these older dinosaurs is they never did stand. Even when they were in the box, they were all like tied down with their legs and that, but I don't think I've ever seen one that has ever stood up without having to be propped or something, because the legs just weren't that stable. But you have the roaring feature on here, you have the electronics, these are plastic arms, you have the stomping feature, you know, tail's pure rubber. Like I said, that's the only roaring feature on there, and then the stomping. And scale wise, here you go. That's how it stands to the 94. That's how it stands. The, what, 2017, 2018, the Mattel. So, I mean, scale-wise, it's really not that. It's actually really cool seeing this next to Muldoon, because that would be about, you know, right? You know, right? So, see? About there. And then recreating. There you go. So, you know, scale-wise, I think they both fit into the mold. And one thing I guess I should have said with this, no electronic features on here whatsoever. I just thought of that when I was looking at the Red Rex. But you can see scale-wise for a juvenile T-Rex right there. So then what we have is let's kick it up. So you got 1993, both Series 1. Now let's kick it up to Series 2. Now here's the deal. This T-Rex is so hard to find always. So this one I was able to acquire, I believe, off of eBay in the late 90s. So most of these T-Rexes that I've seen of the Series 2, they're pretty beat up. The paint's always missing. So I think for like a collector's item, if you could get one sealed, that'd be the way to go, because even the mouth is like cracked in there. Dino damage is missing. It would be the same rubber piece as this guy. So what's cool is you could, you know, take this. Like I said, the mold didn't change, so it'll fit right in there. You know, and you just would need the blue one to make this complete. Well, blue-green. And this is what I loved is they didn't change a lot on here. They just made it a different color for the Series 2. It was more of a cooler color than the desert color like this. The Series 2 ones, guys, like I'll tell you, there was capture gear that came with these too, which was really cool. So there was like the mesh, the headpiece. Basically it's the capture gear almost that looks like from the Mattel one, you know, but there was a plastic piece, and then it came with the chain set to hold the legs. Not anywhere near this size, but you know, it came with the capture gear, and that was about it. That was the only retooling there was. It's fully rubber, you know, the exact same mold, the exact same scale. So what we can do is have them stand, and you can see they stand same size. There's the figures there and there. And you can see just how cool that looks, right? So this was the main line for the Jurassic Park movie, was right here. This was what, you know, Kenner was doing. And this is what really I do have huge respect for in that way, is it wasn't so convoluted that you couldn't track it down. But however, the Series 2 line was actually a little harder to get, and I don't know if every retail store was able to have them. I know like a lot of the Series 2 Tyrannosaurus Rex, Carnosaur, and the Quetzalcoatlus, I know I butchered it, but I used to call it the Quasosaur. And I believe those are more of a Toys R Us, KB Toys. And around where I'm at, there wasn't any of those stores anywhere close to the vicinity. So, you know, if you couldn't order it in the Sears catalog and mail it in, you weren't getting it. And even if you did mail it in, it wasn't guaranteed that it was actually going to be shipped. So they could cancel your order. But that's basically it for the 93, 94 line for scale-wise. You can just see how tall they are. So what we'll do is we'll put this guy back. And then what's really cool is you know, I guess I could put the original Grant in there too. Show you guys. So same size, just a retooling figure there. And this isn't about the action figures in this one, but just to show you guys, you know, just the scale wise, same size. So what we'll do is we'll set these guys back. Let's do this. And then what I'll do is I will show you guys the Lost World set. Now, one of the cool things that I liked about the Lost World is they completely retooled the T-Rexes. And everyone is after this guy. And we will go through that in just a second. And we'll leave our figures there for scale. So, let's see. So what we've got is the Lost World. And what I love about this is they retooled the T-Rex. Now, the Thrasher T-Rex, in my opinion, is probably the coolest T-Rex that was released from the Kenner line. The Kenner Hasbro. The thing is like these Thrashers are like, I know that they're highly sought after. They're very hard to find, like even in this condition where the paint's not even flaked. This dinosaur, guys, I will tell you, I protected. I never took it outside because it was the one that I always wanted. And I remember on Christmas I was able to, I got it for Christmas. But what I'll do is let's stand the figures up, and then I can even show you a size comparison of the Red Rex from '93 to what the Lost World one is. I love making these videos for you guys so you guys are able to see, because I love sharing all this information, because I was still am a huge Jurassic Park fan, but just don't buy as many of them as I used to. So you can see the Thrasher never did make sounds. It did come with capture gear. So it had the muzzle, and then you could stretch the legs down, fold it like that to where it connected. It had a body harness, so it would capture the T-Rex, just like they did in Lost World. But the only action feature there really was if you press the tongue, the mouth moved, and then you could just raise it up, and that was it. That's really the action feature that the Thrasher had. None of the gimmicks were used robotics, like, you know, or mechanical stuff like that, you know, that breaks all the time. But then you had the tail to move the head. That's why they call it the Thrasher T-Rex. And this, like I said, this is such a cool figure. Let me grab the Red Rex to show you guys, to compare from where everything started. Maybe we should use this to show how far the T-Rex is. This is where it started. And then you can see just how scale-wise, like I said, and my Thrasher does not stand up either, but you can see just how scale-wise, just how big it is. So the Red Rex is still the biggest T-Rex. And I don't think, guys, I don't ever remember my buddies or my family ever saying, it's not the right scale, or the figures don't fit. You can see the figure will fit just fine, you know, and go. I think that's one of the coolest things is I never questioned that these figures never look like the movie people. I never thought of that. I was just like, they get eaten by the dinosaurs. So then you can see scale-wise, like, you know, Muldoon, you know, pick on Muldoon. But you can see scale-wise, that's how that works. So then, with the Thrasher, pure rubber, hard plastic. The teeth, really cool. You know, they've got the sharp points on them. One of the coolest things too, I think, that with the Lost World line, they really started changing up the paint a little more to go more with the movie look of it. What I'll do is I'll set the Thrasher there, and then what we can do is grab the Bull T-Rex. I need to fix the batteries in here, change the batteries out. One of the biggest complaints I have about the Bull T-Rex, guys, before I go into it is, again, it's another one that does not really like to stand. So, you know, I don't think I've ever seen one actually stand without being propped. But like this Bull T-Rex here, really cool dinosaur, the teeth, you know, the detail in there. Just, this one was one that I played with a lot. I really did like that, you know. I think this one even retailed for only $29.99. And it was cool because it could just easily, you know, everyone did the same thing. Swallow the figure, and then it comes out through the hatch. You know, you could do that. I really like that feature. I like that they changed the T-Rex mold up and made this like the meaner looking one, you know, the bigger buck. So like, you know, you could eat these figures. And that's what I thought was really cool with this, was you could eat these figures. It wasn't built specifically for one type of figure. It could eat them all, you know, and it didn't have to just be the cage one. And you could easily just, you know, put your hand in there and pull it out, you know, and get the figure out, you know. And the features that this one had is if you press down here, it roared. And like I said, I'll fix that, and then you could get it to have the chomping sounds. I believe I could do it with it. We'll do it with the Chaos Effect line and get the sounds going. But like this bull T-Rex, you had the glass eye, really cool, pure rubber. This whole guy like is pure rubber, other than the legs. You know, what I really liked about it was the playability in there. And what I'll show you guys before we use the cage is just the scale size. So you can see the bull T-Rex is actually the biggest one. And then lengthwise, and I think height-wise, they're about even. So, you know, they did change the sculpt. But, you know, you can easily see just how cool that is. Let me grab the cage. So I'll use the Chaos Effect figure for this one. So the cage for the Lost World was a red guy wearing red shirt and had black hair. And then this cage was supposed to prevent like the T-Rex from eating it, you know. But what's really cool is they came out with this cage and it just instantly, you know, swallowed it. Let's see. Just like that, swallowed it, and then the cage would just come out, you know, down here. And like I said, you know, they really came out with some really cool features. And I absolutely liked how Kenner and Hasbro really had some really cool features to go with the T-Rexes. That's what I like about these guys, is like they just had some really cool, fun things that made each dinosaur different. And you know, don't get me wrong, I'm not ragging on Mattel, or I'm not belittling them, because I really like what they've done with the Jurassic World line. I'm very appreciative, because you guys saw what happened with the very first Jurassic World movie, how our toy line looked, and the T-Rex was terrible and had screws on the one side. I don't even own those figures, guys, anymore. I sold them all because I just couldn't. I as a collector, I just was not. It was a line that I don't even think about. But you know, they have all these different gimmick features that are known to break, and you look at this, there's nothing that can break on this thing. Like, yeah, the sound goes out and you just replace the battery, and guess what, you'll have the sound again. But there's no like motor, none of that that's going to make the mouth chomp and all that. And I'm just not necessarily a fan of all the gimmicks. But what we'll do is so this was the juvenile T-Rex from the Lost World, and I believe Mattel did do a Hammond collection figure, and I never picked it up. But the juvenile T-Rex, I think they even did a legacy collection one too. But what I liked about the Kenner one is you could snap the leg, you know, and it had this feature here. One of the things is, because we played so hard with these back in the day, the capture gear or the leg brace piece is stuck in there, it broke. But I do have one that does not have the piece broke in it. And what's cool is you know, you could see that this was a juvenile T-Rex, and you could snap the leg back in. Now, come on, guys, like, we haven't seen any of these kind of features since the 90s. You know, we're not getting that kind of feature. And I mean, look at how the detail is, the accuracy. You know, this is all plastic. This figure came in the main line, so, you know, went along with the bull and the thrasher. So you had Mama and Papa, you know. And like I said, scale-wise, like, look at it. Here you go. Here's Muldoon. So you see Muldoon could get eaten by the juvenile T-Rex. Even Grant, you know, Grant could get eaten. This is what I really liked about this line is they just, like, Kenner understood the assignment. And they really made these screen accurate, screen detailed, you know, dinosaurs. And I really thought that was cool. I lost Muldoon. Let me grab Muldoon. But, you know, you guys can see this is just Jurassic Park to the Lost World. So we're only at 1997 right now. 97. There was no Wave 2 until 98, where I believe it was towards the end of 97 when they released Sarah Harding and Nick and them. But there wasn't really any retooling. There So guys, there was no like really retooling. There was in the 90s that did come out, was they did do a juvenile T-Rex with Dino Tracker set. And I believe it might have been a Target exclusive or a Toys R Us. Like I said, we didn't have those around here. And I did not acquire that. And if I recall, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it was more of a hard plastic that time around. They did not use the rubber, so I believe it was more of a plastic. But you know, like that was, and it was a dark camouflage, and it came with a retooling of Harpoon Harrison from the Series 2 line of Jurassic Park. And like, I'll go over the action figures, so if you're wondering who that is, you could Google it at this time, but we'll go through all the action figures too. But it came with that kind of set, and that was really cool. But that was all there was. There wasn't like a massive line of 100 different T-Rexes coming out, you know. And like I said, you know, this is what's so cool is this line right here was just absolutely a stellar release. So now what we'll do is we'll set the bull T-Rex back here. I will do a video where I put the battery in there so I can show you guys how to fix the battery if your bull T-Rex is not making sounds. So we've got our Lost World line of dinosaurs. And you can see too, one of the things I did leave out, and I should have said that earlier, is the scale of the Jurassic Park Jeep to the T-Rexes. So we've got our line. So guys, this is where we're going to stop with video 1. We did our 1993 to 1997 line. So we've got Jurassic Park and we've got the Lost World. Part 2, we're going to do the Chaos Effect through Jurassic Park 3. And then we're going to bring it to the current line with Mattel and go through all those. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our channel. We've got Rushers Toys right here. And you guys keep watching these videos. We're so thankful and grateful for all the feedback, the response we receive. Like I said, I really appreciate you all watching our videos and just engaging. This is what's cool about it. And getting to share these toys with you guys from my childhood is just awesome, and going through them with you guys. Thanks again so much for watching this video. Have a great day.